but how does emotional stress show up physically in our fascia, and why does it cause pain?
Yeah, I love this too. I mean, I think people have heard that before, like stress in the tissues. But if you really think about a bad day and how you feel like your shoulders are up in your ears, that is an example of stress that is stuck in the tissue that now could end up leading to misalignment. And now, if you're sitting with that stress, it's going to just trickle down the chain as far as getting kinks and adhesions into that connective tissue, and then possibly injury or just causing pain because you're not in the right alignment all day long as you're sitting. But we can carry stress in any tissue in our body and we feel it then, but often we stay in that stress and it can throw off our center. I think often people are surprised until they have someone point out to where their center is when they're standing or when they're laying down. And a lot of times that comes from stuck stress in the body that stays in the tissue, gets us out of alignment, and sets us up for an injury. But it's not just feelings, it's facts, it's in our body and it's visible. And I'm sure most people have felt it also.
Is it possible to reverse these fascial related problems? Are we just like stuck with, the pain and these, kinks, like you're saying?
Yeah, great news is that this can be retrained and a lot of it you can do yourself. It's so you we are not doomed, none of us. So don't worry. I'm very Now, I'm not going to lie, they can be like this system, this connective tissue, this fascia can be a little bit like a stubborn dog. It has been in a position for a while, so it does have to be retrained, rehydrated. It needs to be released. And you do need a little bit of assistance, I think, in the beginning to make sure that the alignment is correct. But then after that, this is something that you can heal on your own with really minimal tools and really simple instructions. I do like to, again, bring the sponge up. But once you learn to hydrate these areas, and lengthen these tissues, and you're getting connected with your own internal, I like to say your internal GPS. Where is my center?
Yeah.
Where is the stuck stress in my body? You can retrain your whole body basically at the same time. And the best part is it feels good while you're doing it, but you're going to see the changes in your running, in your posture where you're sitting. So it is totally possible to retrain. It is never too late, actually, to retrain. And I have seen more results in the clients I have that are over 70 than I have in the younger population, if I'm honest. And I think it just has to do more with them committing and understanding the long-term effects of what, oh, I'm just a little tight over here. That's not a big deal, but what that feels like 10 years later. So it is totally possible. And my favorite part is that most of it you can do on your own. So I was rattling off some R words earlier. That really is the base of melt. It's learning to realign, to rehydrate, to reset, and release on your own. But we use small balls and rollers to give feedback and to help hydrate this, to help hydrate the tissue. So we do think you need an instructor at first. Again, a lot of us don't know where center is. I didn't the first time I started with this. So then you learn these routines. Well, you learn moves and then sequences that you build into your own personal map. So not only are you doing this at home where you don't have to see an instructor all the time, but the routine that you're doing is custom made to the stuck stress in your body based on what you found through some of these sessions that maybe you did with a melt instructor. But most people start with the hand and foot
Mhm.
just because it's something that's missing, and almost everyone I've ever met warm up. Also, I don't think we think about that these are where everything starts and begins and ends and all that thing. So, and our culture, right, is very much we're using hands and wrists, not just physical therapists, but all of us typing. So those are, I want to show you guys some of the tools that we use just so you can get an idea of what they look like. But it's hard to show a session because honestly, every session is going to be specific to you. You're going to learn a few of the moves. You're going to figure out where the stuck stress in your body is, and you're going to make this map that you can do 3 times a week that will help you check in and treat all of the connective tissue in your whole.
Why do you think melt is so effective at breaking that kind of, pain tension cycle that so many people experience?
A few reasons. I think number one, because there's nothing else like it. You may have seen a foam roller before. I was hesitant to even show it because you may have seen a foam roller, but you have never done a technique like this unless you have been with a certified melt instructor. That's just the truth. The time and the amount of research and the amount of scientific evidence they have behind this technique is why you get the results that you do. Like a lot of good things, the creator started it not only, as I mentioned, to keep her clients off her schedule, I think, and save her hands, but also for herself. I think a lot of people can relate to having pain that maybe doesn't show up on an MRI or a scan or something like that. And I think that's the other thing, is that it puts the power in the person's hands. They're reassessing, they're giving their feedback. They're not relying on imaging or someone else's testing to say what's going on in their body. It gives the person the control. And that's the other reason that I just think that it's so powerful. And you get as much out of it as you put in. That's the truth. You can become your own master with very few sessions with an instructor. So I think that's really, and it just really is the only technique that addresses the connective tissue in this way. It's the only thing like it.